I'm Denise Fry, President and CEO of the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce, which has been hosting the annual Armed Forces Day Parade for many years, since 1948. This year, we're having, of course, to include a few video messages for you. You'll be hearing a lot of stories from some of the people that I'm going to be thanking, and I hope that you enjoy this show as much as we have creating it. Who doesn't love a parade? I certainly love a parade, and I fell in love with this parade when I moved to Kitsap County 6 years ago. I learned how many people and organizations need to come together to put on a parade like this. To all of you who are joining us today, to all of you who have joined us in years past, thank you. It's a wonderful community, it's a wonderful parade, and we hope to see you next year in 2022.
I'm Bremerton Mayor Greg Wheeler, and I'm proud to say a few words about the importance of our armed forces to our nation and our community. As a Navy veteran and retired shipyard worker, I honor the important role our military has played in protecting our nation. For generations, members of the armed forces at home and abroad have been dedicated to supporting freedom and security. We have a strong military heritage due to the location of military installations in Bremerton and other parts of Kitsap County, where many men and women in uniform have contributed to a proud tradition of service. For over 7 decades, our city has shown our appreciation with a celebration and Armed Forces Day Parade in May. Over the years, the Armed Forces Day Parade has drawn thousands of spectators from all over Western Washington who come to demonstrate their support and take part in the patriotic spirit of the day. The time-honored event has been one of the highlights of the year for our community. As Mayor of the City of Bremerton, I join in thanking our military members for their dedication and selfless commitment to on behalf of our great country.
Hey folks, Derek Kilmer here, your U.S. representative. You know, one of my favorite events and occasions every year in a pre-pandemic world is the Bremerton Armed Forces Day Parade and Gala. Thanks to the incredible work of the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce, the Armed Forces Day Parade has been running since 1949. It's the largest and longest running Armed Forces Day Parade in our nation. That is a powerful testament to this community, to our mayor and council, to the Navy League, to the chamber and community organizations like the Lions Club who consistently make delicious pancakes, to other civic groups, and importantly, to the people of Bremerton who show up and stand up and support those who serve. It is a powerful coming together of our community. Service to this nation runs in the blood of its citizens. You know, most of the members of our community have served or are serving or are connected somehow to those that did or do. And our community is stronger as a result of that. You know, if we were on the parade route today, we'd be just blocks away from our region's largest employer, the U.S. Navy, which we value and appreciate. The Armed Forces Day Parade has always been a joyous occasion to celebrate our service members and celebrate their families and celebrate what it means to us as a people and as a nation that these folks have served. You know, people have served so we can be free, so we can speak our minds, so we can worship the God of our choosing, so we can exercise our many freedoms as Americans. People have served to preserve and protect and defend this amazing democratic republic. And so every American can enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I am so grateful for the men and women who make the sacrifice to serve our nation. And I'm proud to be a part of a community that makes it a point to recognize that service in a big way every year. One of the biggest privileges I have in this job is being an advocate for the large population of service members and veterans and their families that live here in our community. I believe that if you serve this country, we ought to have your back. And that means making sure that those who serve get the training and the pay and the benefits and the housing and the health care and the child care and everything else that they need. It means our veterans should get the care that they've earned. It means the men and women who fought for our country shouldn't have to fight for a job when they come home. And it means recognizing that in the land of the free and the home of the brave, every brave service member should have a quality home. So, I'm honored to be sending you this virtual hello today, and I can't wait to celebrate this event in person with you all next year. Stay safe, take care of yourselves and one another. And as always, it's an honor to represent you. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.
Rear Admiral Doug Perry here, wishing all who serve and all who support our service members a happy and healthy Armed Forces Day from right here in Kitsap County. Now, this day is normally one of the highlights of the year when all of us can gather together, express our appreciation for those who serve and our veterans who have served, and enjoy one of the greatest parades our country can offer. It's a special time of year. I've had the opportunity to participate in the Bremerton Armed Forces Day festivities on a number of occasions, and I will bear witness to how special this celebration is. There just isn't anything like it. 20 to 40,000 friends and neighbors coming together to celebrate those who have made the choice to serve their nation. It is really electric. Every time I've had the opportunity to participate, I walk away reinvigorated in my own service and excited for the future of our country. I'm not the only one either. It is no secret among Navy leadership and submariners that Armed Forces Day in Bremerton is where you want to be and something you just have to experience. This year, as with so many things in our lives, it will be different. Unfortunately, due to COVID mitigations, we will not be able to celebrate with a parade and a large public gathering. But we can still do our best to honor the spirit of the event by remembering those who have served and those who are serving today. We can also begin looking forward to the Armed Forces Day 2022, when we can all come together and make this day bigger and better than ever. I know I will be making every effort to be here with you all, celebrating, making it the best Armed Forces Day yet. Until then, I want to thank the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce, the City of Bremerton, and the Kitsap County officials and everyone in our community for their continued support of our Navy and of our armed forces. Your efforts continue to make Bremerton and Kitsap one of the premier military communities in our country. Thank you for all you do, and I hope to see you all out and cheering on the Armed Forces Day 2022 in Bremerton. Thank you.
I'm Captain Jip Mossman, Commander, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility. PSNS and IMF has participated in Bremerton's annual Armed Forces Day Parade since 1948, and it is an honor and a privilege to be with you virtually this year as we join together to recognize the brave men and women who have answered the call to protect and defend this nation. We are proud of the long-standing relationship between the Shipyard and the City of Bremerton, and during the last 129 years, we've grown and evolved together. The community and city's unfailing support of our mission is a key part of our success story. Our Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, and Coast Guard men and women make up the finest military force in the world, and Armed Forces Day is the perfect opportunity for us to express the gratitude we owe to those who continue to put themselves in harm's way on our behalf. Thank you to the City of Bremerton for carrying on this time-honored tradition.
Hello, I'm Rick Tift, Executive Director of Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility. Having been raised in Bremerton, the Armed Forces Day Parade is especially nostalgic for me. Not only is it the longest-running Armed Forces Day Parade in the nation, it is a community celebration that reflects Bremerton's appreciation and respect for our military. Marching in the parade as a 7th grader was my first chance to be a participant, and from then on, it was a highlight of the parade season for me and other junior high and high school musicians. It was a springtime event to look forward to. Throughout the years, generations of military personnel, PSNS and IMF employees, and local marching bands have participated in the parade. While it may be virtual this year, the link to our neighbors in Bremerton is stronger than ever, and the community support of our men and women in uniform is deeply felt. There are more than 1 million Americans serving in active duty military, and it is our responsibility to make sure each and every one of them knows how much we appreciate their service. The Bremerton Armed Forces Day Parade is just one way we can say thank you.
Great job. That's a middle school, Michael.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing.
We start working on the parade in February. There's just a lot of work that goes into behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. And we like it that way. The Public Works and the Chamber of Commerce, we meet together with the Bremerton Fire Department and the Police Department and Kiwanis and BKAT and Parks. And we coordinate these monthly meetings that we sit down and we kind of go over the parade route. Safety is our #1 focus, and we want everybody to be safe and have a good time. The day of the parade, we start work at 6 a.m. Our entire Public Works street staff is working. Nobody gets that day off, ever. It just goes down in history as you can't have that day off. And everybody chips in and makes sure that this event happens. And from the announcing to the music to the entries and the participants and then everybody watching, it's so much, it's wonderful. It's who Bremerton is at the heart. You're a Navy town, you're a military town, you're the pride of that. I remember as a little girl, driving into Bremerton and seeing the ships. And my brother was in the Navy, and it just means so much to me. I can only imagine if you were born and raised in Bremerton, what it means to you all.
Well, I started at the Chamber in 2001. I had just missed the 2001 Armed Forces Day Parade, but I was involved from 2002 through 2019, had a couple-year break in there in 13 and 14. But so 17 years of doing the parade. I spent 23 years in the Air Force, and so I had retired in 95, and my first parade was 2002, right after, so you figure the Armed Forces Day right after 9/11. The military was getting ready to go do their thing in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I felt kind of lost. I didn't know if I should try to re-enlist or what, but being involved with the Armed Forces Day and thanking the men and women that were serving really made it, it was very fulfilling. I do have a lot of favorite parts. I can't remember the year, but American Financial Solutions was our sponsor that year, and they were the first ones that did that memorial to the fallen soldiers and sailors and Marines and airmen that were local. They carried pictures of them with family members. That was a very touching thing. And then at the end of the parade, the military veterans on their motorcycles Yeah, so there's so many parts to it. I couldn't really pick one favorite. The whole parade was my favorite, but there was so much energy there that day. The flyovers, you know, that is probably the toughest thing to do because you have to work with the military and making it into their planning schedule. And most of the time, those flyovers were done as a day of training. They would fit it into their training schedule. We do the Navy as much as we could. A couple years we had the Air Force fly C-17s over downtown, and my most memorable flyover was the C-17 was coming in over the water, over the marina, and I was up on the top floor of the parking garage there on 4th and Washington with the controllers, and they were talking to the pilot, and they were saying, you know, the bands are pretty loud here. You guys are going to have to crank it up to be heard. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what they do to crank it up. But they came over so low and so loud, they set off every car alarm in the JCPenney's parking garage. Congressman Dix, when he was around, he would help us out. Congressman Kilmer took that over and helped smooth the way. One year we had, I got a phone call the day before from a Marine colonel down in San Diego. He says, if I can't get you a plane, I will fly my plane up there personally, my F-18, and do the flyover. I think we've only had 1 year that we didn't have a flyover due to mission and 1 year that we had it due to weather. It was a lot of work, but it sure was a lot of fun.
So the Bremerton-Central Lions have been involved with the pancake breakfast at the Armed Forces Day Parade for 57 years. My first experience with the Lions Club when I moved here was the pancake breakfast. And it really provided me an opportunity to get to know lots of really neat local folks. I stood next to the mayor and our senator as we made pancakes and eggs and fried up sausages. And it was a great introduction to the community of Bremerton for me. It's turned into me. My family comes out and helps. My teenage kids come and help pour coffee and serve our community. So it's been a great experience for us every year.
Our club is 95 years old, and we're looking forward to celebrating our 100th anniversary. And there's lots to be thankful for, and lots of service that we've given over the years. Lions mission around the world, largest service club in the world, and the mission is service to our fellow neighbors. The parade, we get to hear it when we're working at the pancake breakfast, but we don't get to see it. And the music sounds great. We can feel the rumbling of the tanks going down the street, and we can see a lot of smiles and a lot of American flags and Bremerton at its very best. Now, I wasn't here 59 years ago when the breakfast started, but it started in conjunction with the fairground parade in August when the fair came to town. And I don't think they had elephants, but I'm sure that they had lots of horses parading up the street, leading everybody out to the fairgrounds. We started a Western pancake roundup, and we all wore cowboy hats, and we cooked up the greatest pancakes you can imagine. When that parade ended, we moved over to the Armed Forces Day Parade at the request of the Chamber, and we have just enjoyed being a part of the Armed Forces Day. I'm retired military, and that's what this community is all about, is looking after the Navy, our largest employer, and recognizing their service to our country.
The Kiwanis Club of Bremerton has been the parade marshals for over 40 years, helping to organize and line up and get ready to start all of the 130 entrants that come from all over the state, get them all lined up, ready to go on time and in order for a successful parade. Our club is, I myself have been doing it for over 25 years, and it's been a lot of fun and a lot of hard work, but we do our best to have a successful parade. The Kiwanis volunteers meet at 7 o'clock Saturday morning, the day of the parade, usually have breakfast at the Lions Club breakfast, and then head out to 6th Street at the start of Naval Avenue and we start getting the participants showing up. We have buses show up on between 4th and 5th Avenue to offload their bands onto Kiwanis Field. We have representatives there. Plus we have some Kiwanis members at the end of the parade on Pacific and 11th Street to park all the buses so that when the band members finish marching, they can load up and head out to their, many of them go to the Viking Fest in Paulsbo afterwards. We have our clipboards, we have our red vests on, our hats, and we're ready to meet the people as they come in. Many of them have questions. Where do I go? How do I get set up? And we give them directions. We send them down and we have them pull off to the sides of 6th Street so that they're able to come out and feed at their proper time into the middle of the parade and walk on down. We have equestrian units from the Kitsap County Rodeo and the Sheriff's Posse that stage in a different area that we merge them in onto the parade route, as well as all the different bands that show up. It's a long day. It's quite action-packed, and we have hiccups along the way that we do our best to resolve, help people out, and it's a very exciting time for us as well. There's a lot of energy there. We hear the bands playing. You see all the youngsters and the kids on the floats themselves, and it just seems like it's a day full of wonder and excitement that we're just, as a Kiwanis member, just excited to be involved with.
Kitsap Credit Union has been privileged to be a part of the Armed Forces festivities for the past 3 decades. Our founding was at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, where 7 members of the Bremerton Metal Trades Council actually started our organization. So we've had a long history of working with the military and supporting efforts that create opportunities for the families here in the local area. So I am one of those children that was brought to the Bremerton area through the Navy. I'm very proud to say that my dad served in the U.S. Navy for 22 years, retiring as a Chief Petty Officer. And when I first moved here, what struck me about this community is how well it embraced military kids, for one thing. And then as I grew and just really saw celebrations like the Armed Forces festivities, it truly just gave me a sense of pride for living this area. And I wanted to return that back to my community as an adult. So one of the things that I began to do is to volunteer with the festival. There's just this powerful energy that happens on the morning of the parade, because for months you've put in the hard work of, sharing the opportunity for the community to come and gathering the parade entries and getting the judges. And then all of a sudden that morning, you hear the bands coming down the street and you see the crowds reacting to the military entries, and it just gives you goosebumps. It's such an exciting time for our community to share in this very special celebration that we have for our community. On behalf of Kitsap Credit Union, it's my privilege to just thank all of our active duty, retired military members and their families for the support that they give to our community and our country. And I also want to thank the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce for putting together a celebration in the Armed Forces festivities that truly honors the commitment that these individuals and their families make. So thank you.